All right, happy Monday morning. Moving on. Don't forget, next week you guys will be testing on all your genetics material. I'll hold a few Google Meets throughout the week. Friday, I'm going to try to maintain that kind of office hour-y time that if you do have questions, you can pop in, pop out, ask questions along the way. So that would be kind of that flex day that you guys have for Friday. So you guys should have already copied or at least saved these someplace, printed them out, however you need them, the notes on pedigrees. So the reason we do pedigrees with genetics is because we're actually utilizing genetic crosses when we go through and try to determine these particular individuals within the pedigree. So what this chart basically is showing, or pedigree chart showing us, is a family tree. And what we can do is we can kind of go through and look at a genetic trait and see how it gets passed from generation to generation. So if we're looking at this particular pedigree, our little example that you guys see here, a couple things that you should notice. First off, the shapes. You guys should realize that the squares are always going to be males. So in this particular pedigree, I've got 4 different males, and the circles are going to be your females. The ones who are shaded in, here I have 2 shaded in squares, I could add shaded in circles as well, they are having the trait, or they have that particular genetic trait that we are following or studying in this particular pedigree. Along the side, you guys are going to see generations. So this would be like the grandparents, the parents, the children, or however you want to say. So I could say number 9 is the granddaughter of individuals 1 and 2 from generation 1. You also notice that within each generation, those individuals are also numbered. So that helps us to identify them. I could say generation 1, individual 2. I'm looking at this particular female. Sometimes be careful of how you guys have them. Sometimes they'll start the numbers over again. So I might go generation 1, individuals 1 and 2, generation 2, individuals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or they'll just continue the numbers. It doesn't matter as long as they all have individual unique numbers so that we can identify them. And that's basically what we're looking at here. The horizontal line that is connecting circles and squares, that represents 2 individuals that are married. When we follow that line down, and lines coming from the top of our circles and squares are representing offspring. So I can say that individuals 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are all the children of individuals 1 and 2 from generation 1. So generation 1, individuals 1 and 2, they have 5 children, 3 boys, 2 girls. 1 has the trait that is being studied. Individual 8 is not one of their children. She marries into the family. So because of this, we don't really know a lot of the information about her. We don't know what her family looks like. So at the end, when we're trying to figure out her genotype, it may not be as easy as we think it should be. The individuals 7 and 8 from generation 2 are married. They have 1 child. They have a daughter who is number 9. Once again, like we said earlier, she is the grandchild from that first generation. So if we're going through and we're looking at it, we kind of went through and filled in a lot of these that you have here. So the pedigree is, we're looking for something called PTC. If we were in class, I would have given you guys a little piece of paper, and it's actually a gene that whether or not you can taste certain things, and this is actually called PTC. So if you are dominant, you can taste. So you are big T or big T little t. If you are a non-taster, then you are homozygous recessive. Non-tasters are little t, so little t, little t. So all my shaded in ones here are going to be little t, little t. They have the trait of not being able to taste. Be careful, because this is an autosomal recessive problem. You guys will see some that are autosomal dominant. You guys will see one in this packet that is actually a sex-linked trait. The video that you guys are going to see is going to go through freckles, and freckles is actually autosomal dominant. So everybody who is shaded in is either going to be big F or big F little f, and you'll see that a little bit more in the video. So I gave you guys this particular information. You guys should be able to go back through. So I know that these 2 individuals are little t, little t. You always want to start at the uppermost generation, and the reason is because you have the most information, uppermost generation, because you have the most information about the generations after that. So by looking at these 2, I know, oh, these are their children. So I know what, one of the children is also little t, little t. What that means is that dad gave a little t and mom also gave a little t. Well, dad we know is little t, little t. Mom, since she's not shaded in, is either going to be big T or big T, little t. But since one of their sons cannot taste and got a little t gene, mom has to have a little t gene. So the only thing that mom possibly can be is big T, little t. Now that I know these 2 individuals, if you can't do it in your head, do a quick little Punnett square. Oh, mom and dad. Let's see. Dad is little t. Mom is big T, little t. What should their children look like? Do a quick little Punnett square. The only children they can have is either going to be big T, little or little t. They cannot have big T children. And the reason is because this dad has 2 little t's. So I know what each of these are because they're not shaded in. They have to be big T, little t. This individual is little t. He is shaded in. Once again, I know this individual. Not sure about this particular individual yet. She marries into the family. This granddaughter, or generation 3, number 9, she is not shaded in. She's either big T, or big T, little t. Dad gave her a little t gene. She has to be a hybrid. So now I know what dad is. I know what the daughter is. I'm not quite sure about mom. If we go back, mom can either be big T, or big T, little t. I don't have enough information on her, so I need to include both those choices. Mom could be this or this. You can't just pick one and go, oh, let's just make mom big T. We're not sure that mom is big T. So you have to put both. Once they have a few more children, maybe we'll get a better understanding of what mom is, or if we look at mom's particular pedigree, we can probably figure it out as well. Okay, so that's that particular one that you guys have there. The next page, we said that some of these pedigrees can also be sex-linked traits. I think these are a lot easier because these are the traits that are carried on the X chromosome. Well, if you're male, you either have it or you don't have it. There's no hybrid choice there for it. So you guys might see one for hemophilia or colorblindness or muscular dystrophy. So the one that you guys are going to see on the next page, or that you should have kind of seen, is for hemophilia. So hemophilia is a sex-linked trait. It is carried on the last pair of chromosomes, those sex chromosomes, and it is only carried on the X chromosome. Remember, the Y chromosome is too small to carry that particular gene. So if you are a female, you are X big H, she's a normal female. X big H, X little h, she is a normal female. She's also my carrier, which means she can pass that little h gene on to her offspring. And then you have a hemophiliac female. It is absolutely possible. X little h, X little h. So the females have 3 choices. Males either have it or they don't. So if you're X big HY, you're that normal male. If you're X little HY, you're a hemophiliac male. So when you look at this particular pedigree, I can go, oh, I can start looking at these right away, and I know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I can fill in 9 without even thinking about what they are. And the reason is, males either have it or they don't. That's the only 2 choices they have. So if they are shaded in, I know they are X big H Y, which means the hemophiliac male. So I'm going to go through and fill in all the ones that I have here. If I go to generation 2 individual 1, I know that they have to be X big HY. He's my normal male. And I'm going to go through and fill in all of my males. X for number 3, he is X little HY. I'll fill in my phenotypes a little bit later. Generation 2 individual 4 is not shaded in. He's normal. X big HY. So sometimes I'll also fill them in up here. It's a little easier for me to kind of see when I go through and see what these genes look like getting passed on. So they may look something like this. If I continue, this male marries into the family. I don't know much about his family. It doesn't matter. He's X big HY. He's a normal male. He does not have hemophilia. He's not shaded in. He's X big HY. These generation 3, individual 1, not shaded in, normal. Second one is shaded in, has hemophilia. So we have X big HY, X little HY. Over here, this particular male, number 4, has hemophilia, X little HY. Now, I said I have one more that I should be a no-brainer and be able to fill in, and that's this particular female here. That means she has 2 recessive genes. She has hemophilia. There's only one choice. She has to be X little h, X little h. So she is my hemo female. Genotype, phenotype, X little h, X little h. So I know that generation 1, individuals 1 and 2 are married. The male has hemophilia, the female is normal. They have children, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 2 individuals marry into the family. Of those 5 children, they have 3 girls, they have 2 boys. Of those 5 children, 2 of their children, 1 boy, 1 girl, have hemophilia. By knowing this information, I can go back and see what mom has. We know mom is XX. We know mom has at least 1 dominant gene because she is normal. But is she X big H, or is she X big H, X little h? Well, if we're looking at it, she has a girl that has hemophilia. One of these little H's came from dad. One has to come from mom. I also see that she has a son that has hemophilia. Dad gave this boy the Y gene. Mom gave the hemophilia gene. So mom has to be that carrier, or she has to be the hybrid for that particular choice there. Now I know mom and dad. If you are not able to do it in your head, give yourself a quick little Punnett square on what they may look like. I am not grading you on your little side work that you guys have if you can't do it. And I always say just write it out to make sure that you guys are okay with it and that you're not making mistakes. So if I'm looking at, these are what my possible kids are. There is no way in the world they're going to have X big H girls. They cannot have homozygous dominant girls. That means this particular female, she's not shaded in. She also has to be a carrier, X big H, X little h. This girl is the same thing, not shaded in. She has to be X big H, X little h. So now I know everybody in that second generation. The only people I have left, if we go and fill these in, X big H, X little h, 2, 2, we said was X big H, X little h, and 2, 6 was also X big H, X little h. The only individuals I have left are these two. Well, I know what mom and dad is. Go through, do a quick little Punnett square if you cannot do it in your head. X big H, X little h, X big H, Y. So I can have a female who is X big H, homozygous dominant. But I could also have a female who is X big H, X little h. I'm not even going to worry about the boys. We already know what the boy is. He's X little h, Y. But if I had daughters, which they have two, I am not sure if they are X big H, or X big H, X little h. So I need to put both choices there. Once they start having children of their own, I can probably go back and kind of fix them out a little bit. So we're going to have to put both choices. They could be either or. We are not sure, but we do know phenotypically they are normal girls. So you just don't pick one. Don't go, oh, well, we'll make this one X big H, we'll make this one X big H, X little h. You can't do that. You have to make sure that you include both choices for those girls. They are either or, and at this point we are not sure, but we do know that they are normal girls. Okay, so you guys would actually fill in all your phenotypes. Know the difference between genotypes and phenotypes. So what you guys are going to do today, I sent you guys one Ed Puzzle. Ed Puzzle is a little video. It's going to go through, describe some of the stuff that you guys saw on this particular pedigree, and it's going to ask you guys questions along the way. Multiple choice questions will come up to the side. They'll get sent in as you guys finish up that video. They get sent right to Google Classroom already graded for you. Okay, so you guys cannot go back and correct answers or anything else like that. Watch the video. You guys will also have a little worksheet that looks like this that you guys will be going through and completing as well. So I'll kind of attach that. There's two sides to it. Be careful. For that one on the back is for a sex-linked trait. The one on the front is also going to be a sex-linked trait. So hemophilia. On the back is color blindness. And you guys will see some of these on your test next week as well. So send me any questions that you guys have, and we'll keep moving on from here. Thanks.